Coming again back to the topic of interview skills. In the last session, we have discussed about what are the skills which are required to crack an interview. So, few of the skills which we have already discussed. Few skills which we have already discussed. Today, we are going to start with the new skills. That is, in this, the skill says 10th skill says make eye contact. Now, when you talk to an interviewer, be sure to look at them. Most of the time, what happens when we are facing the interview, either we are nervous or we are distracted or we are not concentrating. Physically, we are there, but mentally, we are present somewhere else. So, in that situation, we don't look to the interviewer's eyes. We keep on moving our eyes here and there. We are sometimes looking at our hands, sometimes looking on the table, sometimes looking at the things around. But we forget to make eye contact with the interviewer. So in that case, when you doesn't have eye contact with them, when you doesn't look at them at that point of time, interviewer think that either you are not confident or you are not honest with what you are saying. So it is very important that when you go for interview, when you face an interview, you present there physically, mentally, and you make proper eye contact with all the interviewers. If you have a panel sitting in front of you, you are supposed to look at each and every person in the panel. Just don't look at one specific person and then continue the conversation. No, look at all the persons. Second, don't look down or at the wall or the clock. This shows a lack of confidence. These type of activities, which most of the time we do. Sometimes we are looking down, sometimes we are looking up, sometimes we are looking right and left. That happens. That shows that you lack confidence. So it's better, it's always advisable that when you enter into the interview room, you maintain proper eye contact with all the panelists or the person who is taking your interview. Communicate with the interviewer by making eye contact. Whenever you are answering, whenever you are putting up the question, whenever you are answering the question which is being asked by the interviewer, make sure you are looking into his eyes, you are maintaining eye contact with that person, and then you are answering. This is going to show your confidence. This is going to show that, yes, you know what you are speaking, you are honest with your words, and you are even confident. Next, this displays confidence while allowing you to make an engaged connection. Confidence is there, a good connection has been made, because not just the words, the way we speak, the eye contact, our body language, all these things make an everlasting impact on the interviewer. This shows that, yes, you are listening. This shows that you are confident. You are not hiding anything. You are honest with whatever you are saying. All these things an interviewer judge by looking into your eyes, by looking at you. And when you have that look, when you can also have maintained eye contact with that person, there you build a good connection. Next. Rehearse explaining your resume. Many times we write the resume, and my experience says people write a lot of things in the resume, but when it comes to explaining your resume, they themselves don't know what they have copied. To my shock, and you won't even believe that sometimes people copy the resume and they even forget to change their father's name, the surname. Lot of things happen in the resume. So it's very important to go through your resume many times before you show your resume, before you submit your resume, before you are going to the interview. If you have written even a single word in your resume, you should know and you should explain that word about you. For example, if your resume says you are passionate, you should be in a stage to say about your passion. Describe about your passion. What is your passion? Why you are saying yourself to be a passionate person? Come on, give a live example, give your past experience, share an example to prove, to validate your point that yes, I am a passionate person. So always practice before going to the interview room that how we are going to walk them to your resume. They'll ask them, okay, please walk me through your resume. So you have to tell about each and everything, the important key focus area which you have mentioned in your resume. Like an interviewer is likely to ask you, please walk me through your resume. Now, how you are going to make them walk through your resume? You should be prepared for that, isn't it? Do you think that you have written your resume and just submitting it without going through your entire resume, you can present yourself? No, that is not a good idea. And that way, you yourself will be confused, like what to say, how to answer, and when to answer. So it's advisable that you practice, you rehearsal that thing, that if someone will ask you to go through your resume, if they will ask you to explain your resume, how you are going to explain that resume to that person. You should know that thing. This is the time to elaborate on certain important accomplishment in your resume. In short, they want to know the main things, like if you hold some specific skill, they want to know that. If you have achieved some specific, some very good accomplishment in your life, you need to focus on that. If you have leaded some very important project and you know, explaining that project can add value to your resume, can add value to your explanation to you, make sure you are putting that thing, you are explaining that thing. You should know in your resume what all things are important to be explained and what all things you can just let it go in the flow. So you have to explain that thing to them. So basically, they are giving you a chance to explain about you, to tell the key focus area, the important accomplishment, your good and important skills, key skills, all these things. They are giving you the platform to showcase that thing. This is the right opportunity to explain everything. If you grab this opportunity, if you crack that interview, if you are in a state to make them go through your resume attractively, and that should be exactly related to what is written in your resume, then yes, you leave a positive impact on their mindset. You gain a positive point for that. Stick to specific example or task regarding that accomplishment. Now, if you have told that yes, you have achieved something, if you are sharing some kind of accomplishment, stick to that point. Make sure you are not changing your examples. Example should be specifically related to the task or accomplishment which you have achieved, which you have written in the resume, which you have told. Your example should match that thing. Give specific example and stick to those specific examples also. This way, you aren't taking too much time at the interview itself. You're not taking much time. You just quickly make them go through your resume. You quickly explain them your resume about you by giving relevant, related, specific examples, and you quickly finish up with your interview. Formulate crisp and clear answer that get your point across. You have to formulate very crisp and clear answer. You should be very much clear with the words you are speaking. That can only be done when you rehearse, when you practice, when you explain your resume to yourself before going to interview at least 2-3 times. That is rehearse explaining your resume. Next, know what and when to speak. Very important. You know, many times it happens, or interviewer is asking the question, He doesn't stop. And all of a sudden you speak in between. You're not giving that person the chance to finish up the question, and you just jump into the conclusion that, okay, he might be asking this, so let me answer. It shows your bad listening skills. It shows that you are not a good listener. And don't try to act over smart with the use of words by using slangs, jargons, casual slangs, abbreviations, short forms, fancy words. Don't go with that thing. You need to be very formal while speaking. Keep in mind you are in formal setting. You should keep this thing in mind that this is the formal interview which is going on, and you need to behave formally. You cannot behave as if you are sitting with your friend, you are spending time with your friend, you are talking to any casual friend or an employee or your manager. No, it's a formal setting. It's a formal way in which you have to behave formally, you have to behave maturely, and you have to answer in such a way that leaves a positive impact on other person's mind. Even if the interviewer is acting friendly, avoid inappropriate abandonments. Interviewer may act friendly to make you comfortable, or maybe it's his nature to be friendly. But if he is behaving, acting friendly, still you should not come out of your formal zone. Be formal, be specific about the words you are speaking. Okay, don't use any inappropriate word, inappropriate sentence. Like if the interviewer has become very friendly, don't start using, oh yes, yeah, or any words like which you use with your friends. Don't use such kind of inappropriate words. Don't use casual slang or jargon. What is this? Casual slang or jargons? Special words. We use some special words, expressions which are being used by the professionals. So make sure you are using the words which are easily understandable by the person who is taking your interview. Just to showcase your knowledge, just to showcase how talented, how much knowledge you have about different technical fields. Don't use that thing over here. You need to use that thing when you are working, not while giving your interview. Your language should be as simple as which can be easily understood by the interviewer. I'm saying language should be easy. I'm not saying your vocabulary should not be good. It should have good vocabulary. But this jargon, fancy words, uh, then special words, avoid using those words. Avoid statements about race, religion, or politics. Don't make a mistake on commenting about any specific religion, politics, or race. It is the matter where both of you can get into arguments. So make sure, as an interviewer, he also won't bring these things into discussion. And as an interview, as a candidate, you should also not bring this race, religion, politics into the discussion, so that it doesn't lead you into any kind of conflicts or arguments with the person taking your interview. Stick to what the interviewer is talking about and respond in a polite and formal manner. An interviewer is asking about what are your strengths, and you are talking about your skills. Talk about the thing he is asking, not about whatever is running in your mind. And yes, along with talking about the specific thing, you should respond in a very polite and a formal manner. There is a formal manner which should be adopted by the person who is talking. So make sure you are responding in a very polite and formal manner. Next, interview mode. Your interview mode. What is this interview mode? We're already into interview mode. Like we are going for an interview. That means we are in the interview mode. So why we say that interview mode is very important? Why we say that interview mode is very important? Because as soon as you step into the organization, you should be in your interview mode. Do not wait till you reach the interview room to be polite and professional. You should not wait that, okay, when I'll enter into that room, then only I'm going to be polite, I'm going to be professional. No, you have to be polite, professional. If your nature is friendly, as soon as you enter into the organization, as soon as you step into the organization, the very first step you put into the organization, from that time onwards, your interview starts. You don't know who is observing you, what things, what are the activities by which always they'll be judging you, they'll be observing you, they'll be hiring you. So make sure as soon as you enter into the organization, you keep your interview mode on. Do not wait till you reach the interview room to be polite and professional. Be polite, be professional, be friendly. Even if you are waiting outside the interview room with other candidates. Switch on your interview mode as soon as you enter the interview venue. Your mode should be on as soon as you keep your first tab in the interview venue. That is very, very important. You know, interview venue is a place where you can be observed from any point, any corner. They can pick any corner, they can pick any point from where they can observe you. People might be observing your behavior, they might be checking your skills, your qualities by just looking at you, by looking at the way you are behaving. So it is very important to switch on your interview mode as soon as you enter the interview venue. Be it with the person at the reception desk and any other staff member, or be on your best behavior from the minute you reach your office. Again and again, I'm repeating same thing. The summary is all same, that you need to be at your best behavior with the person who's sitting at the reception, other staff members. Even if a peon is coming to serve you a glass of water, you should be polite with that person also. You don't know who is observing you. So show your best behavior from the minute you reaches the office. If you are reaching the office at 10, your interview is scheduled at 1 o'clock. Your interview mode should be turned on at 10 a.m. only, when you are stepping into the office for the very first time. The very first step you put in your office, your interview mode, your best behavior mode should be turned on. You never know who all have a say in your job. That's what. You don't know who is observing you. You don't know who are the panelists. You don't know who all are taking your interview, who all are looking at you, and who all will be giving you the marks to go ahead, to get the green signal for that job. So it is very important to keep your interview mode as soon as you enter into the organization, as soon as you step into the organization. From that minute onward, till the time you mark an exit from that place, from that venue, you should be in your interview mode. Behave professionally, behave politely. If you are a very friendly person, show that thing. If you have leadership skill, if you are a person who loves to make relations, leave that impact when you leave that organization, when you leave that venue. People behind you should say that yes, he was a nice person, he knows how to make circle around, he is very friendly. If you have that nature, show that thing. Do not waste time. Don't waste your time. Time is very precious. Do not waste their time. You should not waste their time. Be direct in your answer and do not beat around the bush. Don't keep on repeating the same thing again and again. Be specific, be direct to the answer, to give the answer to the question which is being asked. Be direct, be specific, be to the point, because they also have lot of people who are waiting outside to go for the interview. So keeping all those things in mind, you should not waste the time. There will be some tough questions you may not know the answer. In such case, politely accept that you are not aware but ready to learn. You know, many people, they keep on trying to form the answer, like with their assumption, by listening to the word. They just want to explain. They do not want to leave the question blank, no matter what all irrelevant things they are speaking, what all irrelevant answers they are giving. Their only concern is we should come up with the answer. We are not going to leave any question unattempted. That is the whole big picture which is there in front of you, and on that basis they keep on working, they keep on moving forward. That should not be there. You know, there are going to be some tough questions, and it's okay if you don't know the answer, except that politely say, there is a way of saying, okay, sorry, I don't know the answer for this, but yes, I am ready to learn. I'm open to learning. I get a chance to learn this, I'll learn. I'll showcase that. I'll show that, yes, I have learned. So there's a way of answering that question instead of wasting the time, and ultimately the interviewer asks you, uh, do you really know about this term? And you says, no, I don't. It's what I have understood. So never do that thing. It's okay to say no rather than saying some irrelevant, any random answers to the questions. Don't try guesswork or try to fool the interviewer. You know, the person who is sitting on the interview, he is an experienced person. He is also carrying a lot of experience. So that guesswork is not going to work with them. This way, you are putting question mark to the things which you know thoroughly. He might think that, yes, he's using his guesswork over here. Maybe for the other question for which he has answered correctly, maybe he was using the guesswork over there also. So this is going to put a question mark to your real knowledge. The interviewer will think, do he really know those answers, or that was again a guesswork which he was doing? So make sure you are not giving a chance to the interviewer to frame a wrong perception, wrong judgment about you and your personality. Sometimes tough questions are just a way to see how well you respond under pressure. You know, these tough questions are just one of the way to see, to respond that, yes, are you good in working under pressure? How you respond when you have a lot of pressure on your head, how you are going to respond in that situation? Whether you are going to be calm, cool, take time to understand, and then you will respond, or you will simply react in a very negative way, spreading negativity around. So how you are going to behave? These tough questions are just to know and just to check your behavior. And there's one more important thing which you should keep in mind when you don't know answer to any question. People just give a long pause. They keep on thinking. They don't come up with the answer saying, I don't know. They just wait. And in the process of waiting, either the interviewer say, okay, if you don't know the answer, let me ask you something else. It looks bad. It shows that you are a person who is not ready to accept things for you. You're not ready to accept if you don't know anything. You're that kind of person. Don't leave that negative image about yourself. Or what happens after taking a long pause, maybe a pause for almost 1.5 minutes, then you say, sorry, I don't know this term. I don't know anything about this technology. This way you have wasted the time. It would have been really better. See, if you know something and if you don't know something, you can get to know as soon as you listen to that question. For example, if someone will ask me about what is Java, I can immediately say, sorry, I don't know about Java, but I'm ready to learn about Java because I know I don't know that thing. So if I'm going to take a long pause, for example, I'm just waiting, I'm just thinking. Java is, sorry, I don't know anything about Java. What did I do? Was I thinking that I know about Java or not? Am I such a confused person that I cannot instantly understand whether I know that term or not? So if you're taking longer time, that means you actually doesn't know that term. So speak clearly. There is no harm in accepting politely if you don't know any term. But at least don't waste the time. The time you are wasting your as well as other candidates' time as well as the interviewer time. Don't go with that. So these were the 3 points. But before going to next points, I would like to just make you revise few of the points which we did in the past sessions. That is the first point. What do you think the first point which is important to know when you start with the company, when you go for the interview in the company? The research work. Researching the company. Very basic thing, very important, though people think that it is not that important. It's just an option to research about that company. But honestly speaking, this researching the company is very important when you are facing the interview. In this study, it has been shown that many people, out of 100%, 47% people are being rejected, or 47% of the interviewer reject those people who doesn't know anything about the company. Next, once you have researched, analyze job description, go in detail with the job description so that you can prepare the answer to the question, why should we hire you? Now, the answer to this question is related to job description. It should be exactly what an interviewer is looking into you. For example, job description says you need to be a marketing person. So your answer should be specifically related to the marketing strategies, marketing techniques, your past experience, your examples, the projects you have had, the projects you have worked into. Come up with that. So it's important to go through the job description so that it will give you a rough idea of what exactly interviewer is going to look into your work. Brush up your basics, revise your basics. We know people keep on saying that yes, basics are clear. What's the need to brush up the basic? Very simple example. If right now I'm going to ask you about Hindi Varnmala, I bet out of 100, hardly 3 or 4% will be there to tell me Hindi Varnmala. Why? You have learned that in school. We just forgot that because we didn't revise that. That's why it is advisable that when you go for the interview, you need to brush up your basics. Prepare for the test. If you think there's going to be any kind of written test, prepare for that. If there's presentation, if there is activity, there's test, you need to make yourself ready for such things so that these things doesn't come out to be a surprise for you. Prepare for potential interview questions. What are the potential interview questions? Tell me about you, your key strength, why should we hire you, describe who you are, where do you see yourself in next 5 years, why do you want to do this job? So many questions. These are the basic questions which will be asked in all the interviews you will be facing in your life. So make sure you are preparing for your potential interview questions. Need to be punctual. Don't give the excuse of traffic. Don't give the excuse that, oh, I got stuck because of the heavy rainfall. It was predicted. The climate was changing. We're knowing that it might rain. So why you didn't left early for the interview? This is the first thing which is going to give you a positive remark or negative remark. And the first impression is very important. Sorry. Be attentive. You should be attentive throughout your presentation, throughout the interview, throughout the conversation going on between you and the interviewer. Whatever he is saying, you need to pay full attention. Don't look here and there. Don't distract yourself by playing with your hairs, by playing with your hands, fingers, anything which is just kept right in front of you on the table. Stop doing that. Pay proper attention to all the words, to all the things the interviewer is saying. Speak clearly. Be very clear with whatever you are speaking. Many people are overexcited. They're so excited to tell the answer that they speak as if it's a bullet train who is just running and just has to reach the destination. Your destination is to make the interviewer aware about the content. He should understand you. That is your destination, not the speed at which you are speaking. He didn't give you the timeline. With your 30 seconds, in 30 seconds, sum up about yourself. He didn't tell that thing. He just wants you to speak clearly, properly, so that he can understand your answer well. Speak in a very calm and a clear manner. Don't rush to get all the answers. It's okay to skip some answers. But whatever answers you are giving, that should be given in the best way. Maintain good body language. The close body language, the rigidness, the dullness, no proper posture of sitting, looking as if you are very dull, very tired, no charm on your face, no enthusiasm. That type of body language doesn't work in the interview. Communicate. The interviewer understands a lot of things from the non-verbal communication rather than the verbal communication. You know, many interviewers, they just figure out, they just become sure whether they are going to hire you or not in the initial 1.5 or 2 minutes, that is 90 to 120 seconds. They are sure that whether it's a green signal for you or a red signal for you. So that they make sure by the use of your proper body language. So now, these all we have discussed, that is make an eye contact. I told you why making an eye contact is very important. Then rehearse explaining your resume. You should rehearse the way I told you to practice about who you are. Tell me about yourself, your key strength, your weakness. Why should we hire you? Same way, this rehearsal explaining your resume is important, so that when you are explaining your resume, your words matches what you are saying. Know what and when to speak, very important. Very, very important. You should be aware about what you are speaking. You should take the accountability of the words you are speaking. So make sure you know what you're speaking and when you have to open your mouth. Interview mode. When you are going to turn on your interview mode? When you will enter into the interview room, or when you will enter into the venue, interview venue. When? Interview venue. Yes, you have to keep your interview mode on when you enter the interview venue. From that time onwards, your interview starts. And the last point which we have discussed today was, do not be a time waster. Do not waste your time as well as the interviewer time. Interviewer has to take lot of interviews, so make sure you are not wasting their time as well. So today we have discussed about 5 different skills which you should keep in mind when you are going for the interview. There are many more which we will be discussing in the future session of interview skills. Ideally, there are almost 7 more interview skills which you need to keep in mind when you are going for the interview. We'll be reading those skills in the next session of interview skills. You have any doubt? You can ask. Any doubts? No? Okay, if there are no doubts, then we are good to wind up the session. If you have any doubts, you can come back to me in the next session of interview skills also. Yes, I want all of you to be ready with your answer to the question, who you are and why should we hire you? We have already discussed about those questions, like how you can answer that. So be ready with that. And now in the next session, first we'll complete this and we'll go to the next topic. Okay, if there are no doubts, then yes. Bye-bye, take care. See you in the next session.